This is me. This is my mom. Okay. Now, today I would like to talk to you about poverty. Approximately 12% of all Americans struggle with poverty, and 16% of kids struggle with it as well, as stated by the Academy of American Family Physicians. Meaning that children are more likely to experience poverty than adults. Now, with that being said, the purpose of this presentation is about raising awareness towards poverty and about the impact of poverty on individuals and communities. Not only that, but I would like to advocate for more meaningful solutions that address the root cause of poverty and provide maybe an example or a sign or a path as a leading to a way to escape it. Now, the information I have compiled here for you today is unbiased and unopinionated. I have gathered this information from long-established sources that have done an extended amount of research on this topic and who are considered by most to be experts in this field or experts on this situation. Now, as you look around in your everyday life, you can see very clearly that poverty is a very real and a very harsh truth of our society. Whether that being while you're driving your car and you see a homeless man on the side of the road sleeping under a bridge, as cliche as it sounds, that's genuinely is a place that most people living on the street, that's what they have to call home. Now, as you drive past, or as I'm sure we have all experienced, getting stopped at the front of a red light and looking over to our left or our right, making eye contact with someone in tattered, not so clean, stained clothes whose hair might be not the cleanest, with a sign either giving a brief summary of what they need or how they ended up in this situation, or they were just simply asking for donations for themselves. Either way, we have all seen signs of poverty. Poverty is a rising issue that affects numerous men, women, and children. Their health, not only that, their lifestyle, image, the emotional way they carry themselves about life, etc. It is all severely impacted compared to those who do not experience poverty. Okay. Poverty is everywhere. And while there are organizations and charities in place to assist those affected by poverty, I feel as though it is not brought to enough people's attention just how abundant and persistent poverty is in our world today. Kids of all ages are affected by poverty, seeing as how a kid that lives on the streets who can barely have enough food to sufficiently sustain himself, much less his sister or whoever he has to be taking care of if that so happens. If that kid gets sick, he's way likely to get himself up and to go see a doctor or get the help he needs, and there's no way he could pay for the proper medication to get over said sickness. And it's sad, but people living on the streets die each day, whether that be because the elements become too harsh and they couldn't survive like it did for the less fortunate people without shelter or cover during the winter in New York, or whether or not people got sick and could not get the proper health care or medication, as I said before. Poverty leads to a lot of people who are in the scenario to really rely heavily on drugs and alcohol as a slight getaway from the reality that is their life. And a majority of the time, these people don't have money to buy the actual substances, so they get what they can afford, which a lot of the time leads to an overdose because what they got isn't pure and it is either laced or cut with different chemical substances. In recent times, the use of fentanyl has become widely popular with the homeless, as it is very cheap. However, it has been the cause of a spike in overdoses with how deadly and dangerous this drug is. However, with all that being said, there is still a chance for these people to have hope through the power of us, whether that being just simply buying food for a homeless person you see on the street, or donating some of your old clothes that are just sitting around in your house collecting dust and taking up space. Now, these are just a couple of things one person can do that either doesn't cost anything or costs little to nothing at all. Now, don't get me wrong, you won't see what you do affect the whole of poverty because the problem has gotten so big it's almost impossible to completely eradicate from this earth. But you will be able to sleep better, I feel, at night knowing you possibly changed someone's life. There are other people and organizations actively working on the matter as well, so you're not alone. They're actively coming up with more ways and better ways to help evaluate the solution every day. More than just everyday people need to take a stand, though, and try to advocate more in ways of relieving this problem, seeing as how it has spread to such a substantial part of a society. It is going to take powerful people with resources and connections that one average American citizen can't do alone, or the resources or the power to do alone. And this person has to have, or these people have to have a drive and a passion to want to end poverty, to either make, or I'm sorry, not to end it, to even make any sort of impact on poverty. Tackling poverty, I have figured out, or I